Hello, today I'm checking out the P19 IGLOO recoil compressor from Pulsar Modular. As I'm already used to with their plugins, they are quite complex in the amount of extra features they have. I would say extra because maybe they're just, meant to be that way, to have all of that work on the compressor. Especially this like GUI that has these stars blinking. So let me change back from that to like the bright. Yeah, this one doesn't move as much. I tested it out a tiny bit. It's a nice compressor. You can make it sound smooth on your masters, which is what usually just interests me the most. How smooth does it sound on a master? Like how nice can it make some song like compact and nice, and how much control does it give you without sounding too pumpy or sounding too erratic. It also does have that mojo that they try to make you believe on the website. It does really have that, some sort of different behavior dependent on this PSI parameter right here. But I'm not going to go into all of the parameters. I will not make this video into a manual. If you want to know what it does, read the manual, although not everything is really explained. I'm guessing it's a trade secret. There are some things that he probably implemented, the developer, and he didn't want to tell us about it. Outside of use this feature, this is what it generally does. And then more like an explanation of what its actual use is than, the technicalities behind it. And I can respect that as well. So let's test this out on a song just like this. I'm gonna try with some extra hard ratio. Okay. One thing I didn't like is this overload. Makes the compression really, really strong. Of course, just as well, I like this dynamics, which obviously just makes it react to, I guess, the RMS version of the signal in the detection circuit, because it smooths out all the reactions to all the transients. And I would say this is quite more suited for a mastering kind of setting. But now it doesn't compress at all, so we have to push a tiny bit more. So let's see that gain reduction moving. Of course, I'm doing an extreme version of it, so we can hear what's happening, what the times of the reactions sound like. That's cool, so let me do that moderately, just like so. When I change the ratio from 1.5 to 40, it doesn't really change all that much. Maybe my threshold is not well digging into the signal as it should. You see, the difference in the gain reduction is not that big from 1.5 to 40, but that could be due to this dynamics. Yeah, I was right. It's quite intricate in a sense of you would need some time to learn the way it behaves. Just like on some analog equipment, you do need time to learn what it does and how it behaves with certain parameters. I can say that it's versatile, that it really does sound nice on other examples I've used to test this. And I've also put it through the plugin doctor. Right now on screen, I'll show you what it looks like with this subfilter bypassed and unbypassed. Honestly, it's not that big of a difference, but I prefer to have it bypassed so it doesn't have that bump you can see below 20 Hertz. So bumping up all the low frequencies. Although it might be just the thing that actually gives it the character. So I'm going to try some of the presets. Actually, let's try some of the presets that they've made. Like, see bus VCA, or let's say limiter love, because it does have an integrated limiter on the output, which can also become a clipper. So let's see Mojo Jojo. Yeah, I'm interested in this color adding kind of thing. Okay, so that's too much gain reduction. Bypass. Most of this color that we just heard right now, I think, comes from this bias setting, and it's basically the gain that goes into the transformer that's, I think, first in line when the processing of this plugin takes place. Well, it's the emulation of a transformer. Let's try some other presets as well. It also has a really fast attack, so that might have something to do with it. Let's try the Splat LA, Squash LA, Smooth. Let's try the Smooth something. It does sound really nice and ironed out. I dig that. And now if we go into this feel, that actually changes the way it behaves. It really does. Just listen to the transients. The reaction to the transients also changes, like the sound of the transients changes. I'm not sure if the reaction changes, but the transients actually change when I do this. And I think it's like saturation is happening, more saturation is happening when I do that. Actually, something like that is described in the manual as well. This compressor is quite complex. I like the way it sounds, and I like that the demo actually lasts a little bit over a month, and that's really enough for you to try out a plugin, also put it in a lot of your projects, and then have to buy it at the end of the trial period. You know, when it expires, have to probably just buy it so you can export your stuff. If it's good enough to be used in so many projects that later you have to buy it, then I guess it's good enough to, you know, deserve the money. There were some things that were weird when running to Plugin Doctor, but not too weird, not troubling at all. Otherwise, I would have, you know, spent some time to show you that as well. I would have to say that the only thing I don't appreciate is some things being vaguely explained in the manual, but trade secrets and stuff. So is it worth the money? Well, I'm gonna spend my 40 days with the trial and see what the demo is gonna, you know, give me. How much is it irreplaceable with other compressors I have? Because honestly, there's so many compressors on the market, unless it's doing something, you know, specific and special. Like this one actually is, you know, it's adding some saturation that's specific for it, you know, the way it compresses, the way it can do these overload compression things. And, you know, I'm not sure if that's, you know, obtainable by boosting the input, but that would take some further testing on more than just one sound source like now and just one song. Otherwise, I do approve. And if you don't know what I'm talking about half the time, check out the course at mixingacademy.com. Thanks to 11.org. It's completely free. If you hit my glasses, say something in the comments. If you like the video, give it a like. And a lot of you aren't subscribed. It would help the channel a lot if you do, if you like the content, at least. See you in the next video. Bye.